There's a senator in California, state senator in California, Scott Wiener. All nature is but art unknown to thee, all chance direction which thou canst not see. His name is Wiener. Scott Wiener suggested, in response to a Texas representative who proposed banning drag shows for minors, this guy, Senator Wiener, suggested making drag shows for kids mandatory. He said, quote, "This guy, this Texas rep, just gave me a bill idea, offering Drag Queen 101 as part of the K through 12 curriculum. Attending drag queen story time will satisfy the requirement." Now, this guy, Scott Wiener, this is not his first time proposing this creepy sex stuff for kids. This is the guy who was pushing for easing the sex offender requirements for people who sodomize minors. This was a big story, what was it, about a year or 2 years ago? It said California thinks that the law is just too harsh on people who sodomize minors, and we need to go a little lighter on them. That's fair. So not surprised that Wiener would push this kind of thing. But now he's saying we need to make this a part of the curriculum. And I get why he's doing it. I get why he's doing it. He thinks that he's owning the conservatives here. This guy gave me an idea. I know what we're going to do. We're going to make this part of the curriculum. Yeah, I know you're going to do that. That's what you've told us you're going to do for years. Yeah, you're going to totally own the conservatives by proving that we were right the entire time about your intentions. Yeah, of course you were going to do this. Because a society has to have standards and taboos, because a society can't tolerate everything. And so, if we are going to cultivate a society in which people are open to drag shows for everybody, then we need to do it. We need to cultivate that from a young age. We need to educate people into that idea. So of course it's going to end up in the education system. It has to. This is one area where I think the conservatives have made kind of a mistake when they're talking about the Don't Say Gay bill, quote unquote, in Florida, the Parental Rights and Education bill. Some conservatives have tried to find a middle ground here. The libs say we need to indoctrinate the kids into LGBT and put them on puberty blockers. And the people in the middle, the people to the right of them, will sometimes say, well, look, it's not about gay or straight. It's just don't talk about sex at all. Don't just get that, but that's actually not possible. And the libs will point out, no, that's not possible because sexuality is very important to human nature. So when that kindergarten teacher reads the book to his class, or her class more likely, about Mama Bear and Daddy Bear and Baby Bear all having dinner together and eating a bowl of porridge, that is a kind of sexual lesson. You're talking about what family looks like, what the relationship between the sexes look like. No one has a problem with the teacher reading that book to her class in kindergarten. We would have a problem if the book were about Mama Bear and Daddy Bear's boyfriend and Daddy Bear's boyfriend's throuple and his S&M club that he goes to on Thursday nights. We would have a problem with that. They're both talking about sexual relations, or at least sexual identities. The issue is not that someone is saying anything about sex. The issue is what people are saying. The issue is the substance. And that's what this guy understands. That's what the libs understand. And that's why the real conservative position here is, no, there actually is a difference. And we as a society have the right to say that certain behaviors are normative or normal and should be encouraged. And other behaviors, maybe we shouldn't be cruel to people because they engage in those behaviors. Maybe we shouldn't even outlaw those behaviors, but at least we can discourage them. At least we can say they're not normal. At least we don't need to put them front and center. At least we don't need to force everyone to put on the rainbow flag and cheer along the sidelines for transing the kids. We don't have to do that. We can say that it's normal for a man and a woman who love each other very much to go get married. And they should get married. It's good for them to get married. And it's good to create children within that marriage. And there are certain behaviors here that are good. We don't need to be mean to people who don't quite fit that mold. But a society has a right to standards. Every society is going to have standards anyway. It's just now the standards we're getting are drag the kids to drag night. It isn't going to lick itself. Does anyone want to live in that society? Do gay guys want to live in that society? No, not relatively right-minded gay guys. The only people who want to live in that society are the political radicals, and there's no reason we should give it to them. We need to be able to say no. There is a North Carolina mayor who just finally stood up. And he said, no, we're going to cut it out with the weird drag queen stuff. There's a mayor in North Carolina who said on Saturday that the LGBT Pride Drag Queen Story Hour event has been canceled after backlash from his constituents. This is Apex Mayor Jacques Gilbert. Wow, that's a very, very cosmopolitan kind of name for the middle of North Carolina. He is former captain of the Apex Police Department. He said the event was shut down because the community didn't want it. Now he's catching pushback from the radical left. The community has a right to say no to Drag Queen Story Hour. Notice, the community didn't say no to the Pride Parade. The community has every right to say, we don't want a Pride Parade. We don't want that. Doesn't represent our views here, and so we don't want that. We're not being mean to people. We're not tarring and feathering people or sending them out of the community, but we don't want people dancing around the streets in leather and rainbows. We just don't want, but they're not saying that. They're saying, no, have the Pride Parade. They're not even saying no drag queens. They can even have drag queens, apparently. This community is so liberal, so leftist, so open-minded by the standards of pretty much every society everywhere in the world. Where they drew the line was, don't bring the kids specifically to watch the drag queens dance around and read them stories. Just leave the little kids out of it. And that's too much for the radical left. That's how far the Overton window is shifted. That's how far back into the corner conservatives have been pushed. That now the fight we're having is, hey, maybe wait till the kid turns 7 to trans him, to expose him to drag queen shows. Hey, maybe don't let the kid go into the it's not gonna lick itself show until he gets just a little tiny bit older. Do you realize how much ground we've lost there? And the reason we've lost that ground is because we've been duped by the left into believing that we don't have any right to articulate standards. Those guys are articulating standards. Why aren't we allowed to do it? They're articulating bad standards. Why can't we articulate good standards? I'm glad you like that clip. Now, smash and click and ring and subscribe, and you will get the notifications for all of our new videos coming out. Also, head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your audio podcasts. Subscribe to The Michael Knowles Show. Leave a 5-star review. We'll see you next time.